My son was given this lovely pansy for Tu Bishvat, which is a perfect opportunity for me to tell you about how this flower's name, Amnon VeTamar, has everything to do with incest. In 1910, a young doctor in Odessa named Shaul Tchernichovsky wrote an article about a major problem. Hebrew, which was being revived as a modern language at the time, had no names for most plants and flowers. To illustrate this challenge, he used the pansy as an example. The pansy had different names across languages, each telling a different story. In English, pansy comes from the French pensée, meaning thought. Germans called it little stepmother. Russians had over a dozen names for it, including one based on a folk tale about Ivan and Maria. Siblings who were separated by Mongols, reunited, fell in love, and only then discovered they were brother and sister. According to the tale, God turned them into a flower so they could stay together forever. Now, years earlier, Tchernichovsky had translated this Russian folktale into Hebrew. Following the literary fashion of the time, just as Romeo and Juliet had become Ram and Yael in Hebrew, he named his characters after a biblical pair of siblings, Amnon and Tamar. But unlike the Russian tale, the biblical story is deeply tragic. Amnon, King David's firstborn, assaulted his half-sister Tamar after luring her to his quarters by pretending to be ill. Ironically, while Tchernichovsky listed Amnon VeTamar as just one possible name for the pansy, arguing against such random translations and calling for an official naming committee, when that committee was finally formed in 1930, they chose his literary creation as the flower's official Hebrew name. And that's what we call this cheerful garden flower in Hebrew today, a name that carries within it both a Russian folktale of tragic love and an even darker biblical story of assault and revenge.